and welcome back. And this is another movie review, which I haven't done in a while, I know. And this is actually a movie that I saw in theaters like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but unfortunately I wasn't able to, or I didn't get around to making a review till just now. But anyways, that movie is called We're the Millers, a comedy, and I thought it was hilarious, and let's get into this review. So, the plot of We're the Millers. Low-level marijuana drug dealer David Clark is robbed of his money and stash, some of which he owes to his supplier. His boss, wealthy drug lord Brad Gerlinger, forces David to smuggle marijuana from Mexico in order to clear his debt. Realizing that one man attempting to get through customs is too suspicious, he hires a stripper named Rose, a runaway teenage girl and thief named Casey, and his virgin 18-year-old neighbor Kenny, to pose as a bogus family called the Millers. Because of the extra load of marijuana on the RV, one of the radiator hoses breaks while going up a steep incline. A family they had encountered at the border called the Fitzgeralds, consisting of Don, Eddie, and Melissa, catch up to them and tow the Miller's RV to a repair shop. On the trip to the shop, David learns that Don Fitzgerald is a DEA agent after finding his badge and gun in the glove compartment. And that basically sets up the whole conflict of the movie right there. The marijuana turns out to be stolen from Pablo Chacon's cartel. The next day, when the Millers head to the shop to pick up the RV, Chacon and his henchman, One Eye, are waiting for them to prepare to execute the family. They immediately tell Chacon that they aren't a real family and that they didn't know they were stealing from him. Rose is given a chance to prove that she was a stripper by dancing, and when she gets close, turns a steam vent onto Chacon. The Millers then escape the RV and blah blah blah. Okay, enough about that. The cast consists of Jennifer Aniston as Rose O'Reilly, a stripper hired by David to pose as his wife. Jason Sudeikis as David Clark, a drug dealer who forms the Millers. Emma Roberts as Casey Mathis, a runaway teenage girl and thief hired by David to pose as his daughter. Will Poulter as Kenny Rosemore, a virgin 18-year-old neighbor hired by David to pose as his son. Ed Helms as Brad Gunlinger, a drug lord that hires David to smuggle marijuana from Mexico. Nick Offerman as Don Fitzgerald, a DEA agent who befriends the Millers. Catherine Hahn as Eddie Fitzgerald, Don's wife. Molly Quinn as Melissa Fitzgerald, Don and Eddie's daughter. Ken Marino as Todd, the sleazy owner of the strip club. Okay, enough about the cast. So yeah, that basically sums up what happened in this movie. So now let's just get in to the real meat and bones of this movie. I had one major problem with this movie, Alright? But actually, I had two problems with the movie, but let's talk about what I liked about this movie. It was hilarious, alright, and I really love the ending as well, but the movie just played out so perfectly. I laughed at the majority of the jokes, and you see, it's hard to talk about a comedy because subjective is humor. Yeah, humor is something that's very subjective. All right, but I'll tell you that from my personal experience, it's a fucking hilarious movie, and they successfully made a very hilarious movie out of a quite serious topic in society when it comes to drug smuggling over the border, which is a pretty serious topic, but they made it very funny. All right, and don't worry, none of the Millers gets thrown in prison because of this at the end. I'll just tell you that part about the end. So I'm going to tell you about the end of it, but I will tell you that though. None of them gets put in prison by the end, but yeah, I do want to say that I thought it was hilarious. Now, I was a bit skeptical going into this because generally when comedies are made, it's like this was a brand new movie, not based off anything else, not a sequel, not a prequel, not a remake, not a reboot, completely original, and it really did great with that. When I when I went in to watch Grown Ups 2, I figured that would at least be decent because I loved Grown Ups 1, and Grown Ups 2 was the sequel to it, obviously. But this one was brand new, and it really hit it hard. All right. Now there are two problems I have with this movie, though. One was that, and both of them had to kind of do with the comedy as well, because I love the comedy in this movie, but I did have two problems with it. One, there are some kind of original jokes in this movie, but there are a lot of jokes that you could probably find either exactly the same or just reworked somehow in other comedies. Sex jokes, like you haven't seen them before. You know what I mean? So yeah. And the other problem that I have with this movie in terms of the comedy is that there are a lot of jokes in this movie that are just repeated, which does show a tad lack of originality, I guess you could say. Alright, so yeah. But those are really my only two problems with the movie. Other than that, I thought it was a pretty great movie, very funny, and I do definitely recommend it. Alright, so yeah. Anyways, I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10, because I do think that it's definitely worth a watch. So yeah, but anyways, overall, I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. See you after, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.